this from the official line from the States that there will be no negotiation.
Yes. Now, I just wanted to highlight this article from Caitlin Johnson, and I have to say, I think it's pretty spectacular. So the headline is "The narrative that this war was unprovoked prevents peace." Here's what she's saying: the moronic narrative that the invasion of Ukraine was unprovoked poses a massive obstacle to peace because if Putin is just attacking and invading countries solely because he's crazy and evil, it means détente is impossible and he won't stop until he's decisively crushed. As long as the fact that this war was provoked and remains unacknowledged by the side that provoked it, the sane path of de-escalation and détente will look like reckless appeasement of an irrational madman, and aggressive escalations of nuclear brinkmanship will continue to look like sanity. She goes on to say, the claim that peace is impossible and Putin must be crushed imperils the whole world. Even to deliver total victory in Ukraine, brackets pushing Russia back to pre-2014 borders, would easily end up costing millions of lives and trillions of dollars and exponentially increase the risk of nuclear war with no guarantee of success at all. Be an adult and engage your critical thinking. Does a madman who goes around invading countries solely because he's evil and hates freedom sound like a real-life human being to you? Or does it sound made up, like something you'd see in a Hollywood movie, like something that was concocted by people responsible for controlling the dominant narratives of our society and funneled into your mind using media? Marvel supervillains have more depth and complexity than the one-dimensional characters the Imperial spin machine concocts to represent its official enemies, and so on. So this is quite an article, and just interested in your thoughts on what you've seen there, Alex.
Yeah, I have to be honest that Caitlin Johnson sometimes is overwrought in her writing, and so although I am subscribed to her Substack blog, I have stopped reading it as regularly as others. But you have to give people their due, and she has, as usual, concentrated on what's going on in Western minds. That's her forte. She writes from Australia, where they have a pretty bad dose of hysteric anti-Putinism. And I think that it's inarguable in essence what she's saying, that if Putin is reduced, well, first of all, which she didn't concentrate on, Russia is reduced to Putin's war, as we've heard the new prime minister say time and again, denying the agency of everyone in the Kremlin. Secondly, it reduces them from reduces the agency or visibility of the ethnic Russians and Russian speakers in the Donbass, obviously, who spent 8 years under the most horrendous fire, and that's why they took the steps they did and called for Russia to intervene. And thirdly, and this is what Caitlin Johnson does pick up on, it's just a cartoon representation of Putin the villain, even discounting that there are other power deciders and other populations involved. And yes, that does seem to be a fair point, but I have to say that is still what the thinking majority, not the extremists, but the thinking majority of all the countries around Russia are still bandying about among themselves. They're telling the West now, quite increasingly in social media and in speeches, look, you can't just balk at nuclear war every time Putin, as it's called, invades a country, because we have the rights to be free. So you must stand up to it with threats of nuclear retaliation. That, I'm afraid, is still the position of dialogue, not just in the extremes, but in the center of most of the countries around Russia.
Yes. Okay, well, look,